Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Melinda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2025.
Thank you.
Yeah, before going to our session, I would like to introduce you to our audience. Stacy?
Okay.
Yeah. Dr. Stacy Bullock is the founder of Power in Resilience, a coaching agency that offers workforce development and life skills training. She also serves as president and CEO of Order Steps Incorporated, a non-profit supporting homeless and formerly incarcerated women veterans. A best-selling author of five spiritual self-help books, her latest work is titled Are You Present? Dr. Bullock is a transformational speaker, a certified John Maxwell leadership coach, an ordained evangelist, and host of Tools for Everyday Living, a TV show streamed across YouTube and social media. In December 2023, she was honored with a doctorate and received the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. That was a great bio, Stacy, and stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go a little bit beyond that bio and get to the real nitty gritty of stuff.
Yeah.
This topic, unlocking your full potential, is a lifelong journey. I'll warn you first that it doesn't stop once you say, okay, I am going to be the person that I was always created to be. And, sometimes we discover this in not necessarily bad situations, but a lot of times we discover it during a time of pain. And during that time of pain, we go through a whole lot of stages. And we first of all, the one in beginning stage is we have to be willing to unlock the things that have stopped us, the things that have slowed us down. It could be physical injury, it could be emotional injury, but something has slowed us down or completely brought us to a standstill. And that's a little bit about my life starting in 1997 when I was in an accident while serving in the military and had the accident, was probably incapable of doing a lot of things that I had done prior to that for about 2 weeks, nothing too major, right? Hmm. Unbeknownst to me, that 5 years later, my legs would say, I am not going to walk because of pain. Have you ever felt pain? I, I always say that, you know what? The thing that all human beings have in common is we have all experienced pain. I think you can agree with me on that. And sometimes pain, like I said earlier, will have a tendency to cause us to stop or slow down. In other words, it could possibly cause us to quit or not have the capability to do it. As I said, I couldn't walk. So that made it difficult to be a soldier. That now means that the career that I had for that past 18 years is now over. It has come to an abrupt end. Now what? What are you getting ready to do with the rest of your life that has now put you in a position where you have to think of something immediately? So here I am pondering. Seemingly out of nowhere, I meet this chaplain. He is the chaplain of the Anne Arundel County Detention Center facility in Anne Arundel, Maryland. He says, do you want to be a mentor? Absolutely. I just came from doing 18 years in the military, in the Army, in the United States Army, let me say specifically. And I no longer know which direction I'm going to go in. While serving in the military, I was a leader. I was in the dental field. I had made great strides to make rank and get into leadership positions. So here I am now, this leader with nothing to lead. So I have to figure it out because I need to lead myself into unlocking my potential. So the chaplain says, you want to be a mentor? Absolutely, of course. So I start mentoring these ladies, and I'm noticing that they keep coming back to jail. And my question is, why do you keep coming back? And their answer was, because we have nowhere else to go except for the place that we always get in trouble. Okay, so here's the need, here's the cause. You probably have one nearby you as well. We'll have to start paying attention to the stuff around us. What need is here? What need can you meet? What need can you fulfill? Not just for you, but for someone else. So here I am with these ladies. And I go home and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, you know what? I have about 1,100 square feet of space that's not being utilized. So that would be much bigger than what these ladies are used to living in, and some of them in a 12 by 12. Now, talk to my family, talk to my husband, and they say, yes, let's do it. Let's bring these ladies, let's start this organization. And that's where the Ordered Steps Incorporated came in. We started this. I'm slowly but surely walking into my purpose. I'm slowly but surely walking into the call on my life. Somebody's calling you too. Somebody wants you to um, come to them, to be the lifter of their head, to be the bridge for them. So we have to always know that when we're in specific situations, especially when there's pain involved, that this might be an indication that you're heading in the right direction. Yeah, I know sometimes we think pain and difficulty and disappointment takes us in a wrong direction. No, most of the time, if we pay close attention, it's taking us into the right direction, the call of who we really are. So we're here today to unlock our potential. We're here today, full potential. We're here today to have an understanding, first of all, of who we are. I had to come to the understanding that I was more than a soldier. I was more than a mom. I was more than a wife. I was more than someone who mentored at the jail. Yeah, even though I was doing that, I was more than that person. There was something within me that said, you can do more and you can be more. So I'm saying that to you today. You can do more and you can be more. This global virtual summit will take time and let it marinate in you. And so it can catapult you to your next place so you can unlock the things that have made you feel like you're stuck or you slow down a little bit. Like I said, in my case, I couldn't walk. So that made me physically stuck. And I had to overcome that. I had to find the resilience, key word, the resilience in me to make me want to get back up again, to give me life, to ignite me, not just to motivate or inspire me, but I needed my mind to be transformed. I needed something that was going to give me purpose and make me feel like I was providing life to someone else. So that's what those women did for me. They unlocked the mystery of my teaching abilities. I already knew that I was in a leadership position when I left the military, but that didn't qualify me to be a leader. But when these women came to my home, I was automatically looked at as a leader. And I had to give myself permission. And I'm saying that to you today because this is the definition of unlocking for humans. Just simply means that we release and give ourselves permission to be who we are. If you are a cook and you love it, cook. If you're a writer, write. I've written 5 books now. I'm on my 6th one. And this one is going to be a doozy, I'm sure, because it's called Seasons of Life or Life Seasons, one of those. But I want us to unlock, I want us to discover who we are. I want us to get to the point where we have an understanding that our potential is great. And also, we get to a place, guess what, of self awareness. But, a lot of people hear that. We talk about it a lot nowadays, and we hear about, oh, yeah, I'm self aware. Are you really? I want to help us. Let me go through these little points we're going to get to today. Understanding potential and self awareness, setting goals and maintaining them. We're going to be our own motivation because we're going to need it. We're going to need to be our own motivators. And most of all, we're going to need some resilience in our life because we're going to have to bounce back from some things because life just does that. As the younger people say today, life is lifing and it will continue as long as you continue to breathe, which preferably we will all do that until a ripe age, a ripe old age. But understanding your personal potential is key because we have to know what our abilities are. We have to know what each of us, what are we distinguished by? I mentioned cooking earlier. I mentioned writing earlier. And that's something that I am, I say your purpose sometimes will bring you pain as well. I love to write when I'm writing. However, when it's time to go write, go and write, it's like my body says, "Oh, I don't feel like it right now. I don't want to," or it'll make a excuse. These are my personal issues that I have to understand. So we all have them. So you have to be able to recognize your personal issues, but most of all, recognize your potential. Recognize that you're not that person that's stuck. You're not that person that is just barely hanging on. You have to start believing in yourself. These last few days, I have been getting up at, I believe it's like 6:15, my alarm goes off. And some days I struggle to jump right up because I have a goal that I want to reach regarding exercise and taking care of this, what I call this temple that I live in. So I have to believe that, what you're doing is good for you. What you are doing is giving you a better life. Wow. Let's start believing that we deserve a better life. Yes, because we do. We deserve a better life. So start believing it. And I guarantee you, you will find yourself in a position of empowerment. Wow. How do we make sure that this is important to us? This self awareness. Let me tell you something. I was studying the word awareness, and we all know that being aware, that is the ability to see something, know something. However, when you add that NESS to it, that is a game changer because that NESS is meaning that what is the quality of of you being aware? Basically, you know it, but now what you gonna do? Do you have the will to do? Do you have the motivation? Do you have the inspiration? Is your mind going to a point where it's beginning to turn and say, you know what? I want to turn my life around. I want to have an understanding of my thoughts. I always tell people, think about what you're thinking about. That's called meta thinking. Think about your thoughts, think about your feelings, observe your behaviors, and then if you need to, which we all do at some point, make the adjustments that are necessary for you to unlock your full potential, for you to be the best version of yourself every day. No, every day is not going to be peaches and cream. However, we can will ourselves to a place where we automatically say, I'm going to smile regardless. Because when we smile, when you turn this up, your body begins to react to it. And when your body begins to react to it, your happy juices get to flowing. And then when those happy juices get to flowing, they're called serotonin, dopamine, those kind of things. When they get to flowing, then we feel better just about who we are. And regardless of the situation, that's the key element, that we feel good about who we are, that we know. I have this little saying that says, always be awesome. What does that mean? That means that in every single situation that we take the opportunity to be the best in that situation, not the grumpiest, not the loudest, not the worst behavior, not a horrible demeanor, not being rude, not being mad, finding ourselves at peace and at rest. Sometimes we have to, not sometimes, all the time, we have to make sure that we are aligning our actions with our values. So if I say that when things come my way that make me upset, I am going to sit back. First of all, I have to examine myself and find out what's my role that I played in it, and how can I make the adjustment for it to be better for me and those around me. So we want to make sure that we pay attention to what result do you want. I'll say that again. What result do you want in fulfilling life? What result do you want? That's a sticking point right there, because I can't seem to let it go. In order for us to have personal and professional growth, we're going to have to be honest with ourselves. And sometimes that honesty is a little difficult, but that is going to be your key unlocker. That is going to be your key to uncovering, taking off the layers, peeling back the onions. That is going to be your key to your personal growth. That when you're in our personal growth, we have to get to a place and decide that we're going to learn to identify our strengths and our weaknesses. We're going to learn to identify our strength and our weaknesses. That's just not for a job interview. That's for a full life interview. Always paying attention. Where am I strong? Where am I weak? And not making it to you where you beat yourself up with it. No, that is not what I mean. Give yourself grace. However, we still have to manage. If we want to grow, we have to make sure that we are telling ourselves the truth about who we really are. I'm strong in this area, but woo, I am weak over here when it comes to, I don't know, eating that extra cookie. I don't know. I like to use food analogies because I love food. And, not all foods love me. So I have to be honest with myself and saying, no, Stacy, that is not good for you. So you might want to leave that alone. Okay. Self-awareness and the strengths that we have is crucial for us in our growth process of life. Life's a process. And as I said earlier, It is going to be perpetual, it's continual until you leave here. It will continue to go on. So we have to make sure that at every stage and every season of life that we get to a point where we set some realistic goals. We can't just be out here willy-nilly aiming aimlessly at things, just holding the gun up in the air and shooting, saying wherever it lands, that's what I'm going to do. No, make sure that you are fulfilled, that you are having a smart goals. And I know that many of the speakers here have mentioned it. And SMART goals mean just specific, measurable progress. Like, say, in 30 days, I want to be here. In 2 weeks, I want to be here. Don't make them too lofty. Make them achievable. Because if they're not achievable and you don't make the mark, guess what? You're probably going to say, I'm not going to do it anymore. And also make sure that you have a time set, like I said, in 90 days, in 30 days. We have to make sure that we are creative in these plans. They always say, get creative in a workout series. Don't do the same thing over and over again because we will get bored for sure. Understanding this big thing in life shows up too often sometimes: procrastination. Do not procrastination is a dream killer, stealer, and we don't want any of that. We want to have growth, we want to have productivity, and in productivity, that means we have to adopt some methods that we were not really sure about in the beginning. But because we want to pursue who we are and we're passionate about whatever it is, like I said, mine is what I'm doing right now, talking to you. So sometimes I probably have tons and tons of pages of things that I've studied, and it's way too much. But I'm so passionate about it. And I have to do that because I find my motivation in that. I find that when I am able to go in and pull hard, sometimes we have to go in and pull hard, pull out. Gonna take some strength, gonna take some effort, gonna take some energy, gonna take some love and some grace for us to become fully of who we are. But make sure, biggest thing ever, is that you're personally satisfied. Don't let somebody else dictate to you who you are. God and you are the only one that can do that. So make a commitment to yourself. Stop telling yourself no. Stop telling yourself no. When you plan to do something for you, do it. Because guess what? We do it for everyone else, especially women. Especially women. We do things for other people that we take ourselves away from the opportunity to grow personally, to unlock, to unleash, to uncover, to discover. Biggest thing I want us to take out of this is understanding resilience, how to recover from difficulties without major damage. Let me tell you something. Architects, they put in the design plan of a building resilience. Why? Because when there's an earthquake, when there's something that could shake and move that building, the resilience in that building will not allow it to be damaged to the point where it is no longer valuable. So, you, my resilient friends, you are valuable. You are necessary. Make sure you pat yourself on the back when you achieve your goals, no matter how small, no matter how big. If you got up today and got dressed and you hadn't done that in 2 weeks, I admonish you to get up and do that, because that's your first method of unlocking your full potential. Thank you so much for having me today. If you have any questions, please just type them in your platform, and I'm sure we'll get to you.
Stacy, that's a wonderful talk, and we really impressed your talk. Yeah, we
Thank
have
you
a
so.
few questions from our audience. I would like to ask you one of them.
Sure.
Yeah, how do you empower others to lead with their whole selves?
How do I empower others to live with difficulties?
Yeah.
Guess what? We're still alive. I remind you that you are still alive, regardless. I've seen, like I said, I was in the military, so I've seen people who've lost limbs, who had to be in wheelchairs, but they are some of the most vibrant people that I know. And some way, somehow, they figured out to say, I'm going to remain happy. I'm going to remain peaceful. And I'm going to work with what I have. Why? Because I'm still here.
Yeah, Stacy, thank you for your valuable answer.
You're welcome.
Please stay beyond the stage and join the next session.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again for having me.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.